Buckeye Lounge, we run this game. Shrockstar Shaun, remember the name. TG's lurking, Wolverine's fear. Scarlet and gray, make it loud and clear. O-H, O-O-H. TG and Shaun, bringing that smoke. They stand in the paint, that ain't no joke. Tune in, turn up, let the show begin. The Buckeye Lounge, straight fire within. O-H, O-O-H. Buckeye Lounge, we run this game. Shrockstar Shaun, remember the name. TG's lurking, Wolverine's fear. Scarlet and gray, make it loud and clear. O-H, O-O-H.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Ohio podcast proudly brings to you the Buckeye Lounge. I'm your host, the Shrockstar, Shaun Shrock. With me, my co-host, my partner in crime, the Wolverine Slayer herself, Miss TG. And tonight we have a very special guest, Mr. Japheth Wilmore, also known as Brutus Stark on X. That's where I first got to meet him. How you doing today, Japheth?
We're doing good. We're doing good, all things considered. Lots has changed in the last almost a year since I think the last time that I was able to chat with you. So, no, things are going well. Things are going well.
Let's go back a little bit. We met on X, and just like fans do of the Buckeyes, and we kind of followed each other. Then you had a very emotional post one day. It just caught me by surprise because you posted. I'd see pictures of Clark, your beautiful son, but you had that post where you told us all that he had Sanfilippo disease. If I'm saying it right, is that Sanfilippo?
Yep, Sanfilippo syndrome. Yep.
And man, that just hit me because I have a 10-year-old daughter, and there's nothing worse than a sick kid or an injured kid. So I mean, my heart broke for you. I was with the Buckeye boys at the time. I reached out to Dev and Mello and said, "Hey, let's do something for this guy and for his son," and they agreed. And then I saw that Bo Camaro was reaching out to you guys. I thought, man, that dude's pretty cool that he reached out to you guys. He's trying to help you being a Tennessee fan. It was right before the playoff game. So
Yep.
I had Bo and you come on, and you guys, we had a great time talking, and we raised some money for you guys. And you guys got to go to the Tennessee game and watch Tennessee go down, watch our Buckeyes kick the crap out of them. And, so it's a year later now. Give us a little update on how you guys are doing. How's your family doing? How's Clark doing? How are you guys doing?
Yep. So, I guess if anybody doesn't know what Sanfilippo is, it's kind of like Alzheimer's in kids. He's, Clark's missing, an enzyme in the body that results in a waste product building up, and that eventually causes brain damage. And over time, they start to display symptoms kind of like Alzheimer's, but typically starts to show in kids around the age of like 3 to 4. They learn, they grow like normal kids, and then around that 3 to 4, they start to lose skills, and then ultimately kids with Sanfilippo pass when they're in their mid to late teens. Nobody's ever survived Sanfilippo. It's at the moment currently 100% fatal. So yeah, we met Bo and got to go to the Tennessee game. They fundraised, Buckeye Nation, Tennessee Vols. They all fundraised, a lot of Michigan fans too, to help us get there. Got to watch Ohio State, take care of business then. And then we ultimately ended up to go to the national championship game. So come January, Bo reached back out and said, "Hey, this has kind of become a big deal. Ohio State's on a roll. It's kind of become this good luck charm. A lot of people would like to see you guys in Atlanta. Let's get you there." And so Bo put that together, fundraised a lot to get us there. Dunkin' Donuts actually is who came through and got us the tickets to the game. They reached out, and they always they said they always donate tickets to someone that they think could use a good kind of escape from something that they've got going on. And so
Awesome.
they picked us, and that's how we got to go to the national championship game. So got to see him win it all there, and that was super fun and exciting. And then, yeah, so that's kind of how that all went. And then as far as Clark and Sanfilippo, in April, we got contacted by the University of Minnesota. They're a well-known university in kind of researching Sanfilippo syndrome, and they're reached out and was like, "Hey, we've got a clinical trial that's about to start for an experimental drug." And Clark was on kind of a registry for kids with Sanfilippo. We'd like to fly you guys out and screen him to see if he qualifies for the trial. We were really fortunate that he did, because the criteria were really strict. One of them being that the hardest thing is that a lot of the kids regress, and these trials, they don't want kids because they want to show that the drug works and that it prevents them from regressing. And usually by 5 years old, which Clark's 5 years old, they don't talk anymore. They don't communicate well. A lot of the times they aren't able to feed themselves, and we're fortunate that he's not at that point. So he was a good candidate, and we have been going to Minnesota every other week since April. We fly out there, spend a few days, and he gets his treatment, and then we come home. So as far as we can tell, we feel like it's working because he's in school. He's, like I said, he's in kind of like a pre-K. He's still learning. He is still growing, hasn't regressed, hasn't losing skills. He's actually seems like he's getting better, learning more, which is the opposite of what you would expect for Sanfilippo at this age. So we're feeling good.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons to be hopeful. So we're feeling good. We're ready we're glad football season's back. I made a post on Twitter, week 1 against Texas when we put the game on, and he was decked out in his Ohio State gear, and he had his football, and he was pumped. He was like just screaming Ohio State and screaming touchdown. So he was ready for it. So we're happy to have that back and something that we can enjoy and try to forget all the negatives that we got going on and just have fun.
What do you think was your favorite memory of last season?
Yeah, I mean, the Tennessee game was really cool because we actually got passes to go on the field. So that was something that was really cool. The national championship was really cool, but we got to go down on the field. And I actually don't remember how well this was circulated back for the Tennessee game, but Bo, he's like, obviously I'm a Tennessee fan. I have no connections with Ohio State. He was trying to find a way to get us tickets, and he was having a hard time because the tickets were actually sanctioned through the playoff versus it being through Ohio State. So Ohio State, in his, he was like, I don't really have any connections there. I'm being told that because it's through the committee essentially, that they can't donate tickets, or it's hard to get these free tickets or for you guys. So actually Coach Day donated the tickets. It was, it was actually his son and wife's seats that we sat in. We sat next to Coach Mick's wife actually during the game.
Wow.
Wow.
So we were able to sit there, and it was a great time. And then about 2 minutes left in the game, Coach Mick's wife was like, "Hey, this is the time that we can actually go down on the field on the sideline. And then once the game is over, we can actually go out and mingle and interact with the players." So that was really cool, really special. So, yeah.
What was it like interacting with the players?
I didn't realize how small I was until I got to go, get down on the field with these guys. It's really funny when you see them because, you watch these games and it's all relative. These guys are all with each other, and they're all large athletic human beings. And so you don't realize the size difference between them and normal people until you see them with normal people. And so, no, it was really cool. I mean, we didn't really interact a ton with the players face to face, but just being down there with them and, being just a few feet away from, Will and, Trey, we were really close to them, and just it was really cool to be in proximity. So,
we had RJ Day on the show, and the kid is such a great kid. So it does not surprise us that him and his wife him and his mom would donate their tickets. I mean, they're that kind of people, man.
Yeah, they were great because they ended up they were actually, because we had their seats, they were on the sideline the whole game, just kind of standing and walking around since we were in their seats. But there was that game was incredibly cold.
Oh yeah.
It was freezing, it
Mhm.
was below freezing. And so there was a point towards the end that Clark was starting to get kind of upset just because it was late. I think at that point it was like well after midnight. And
Mhm.
RJ came over and checked on us and found a blanket, one of the players' blankets that they were using to stay warm, and chucked it out to us because we were right there, and
Oh, that's
made
awesome.
sure that Clark had
Oh,
something just to try to keep him a little bit cozier. They gave us a hand warmer. That way he could wrap it around him, stick his hands in. So, yeah, he's a great, great kid.
Wow, that's
that's
awesome.
amazing. That
Yep,
is
it was cool.
amazing.
Yeah. So that was the like I said, the national championship was obviously great because watching him win the Natty was fantastic. But there was a lot of personal. Well, it was a lot more personal at the Tennessee game. So, like you mentioned earlier, we got to go the day before and walk the field house with Cardale Jones and hang out with him for a couple hours, which was really cool.
That's amazing. Our producer, Buck Vader, says he's happy to see that Clark's doing well and that you guys got to see the playoff run.
Yeah, we appreciate all the support that everybody's given us and continues to give us, and sharing. We even just sharing all of our posts on Twitter of him when we share them, because it's one of those things that we can't, with him being in a clinical trial. It is really great because it gives us an opportunity that most families don't get, which is to hopefully not necessarily cure him, but halt the disease and keep it from getting worse, and allow him to just continue growing and living a long, healthy life. And we can't share tons of details from the clinical trial for the sake of the integrity of the trial,
Right.
but it is beneficial to let people see him doing well because that helps raise awareness and allows more people to realize, like, hey, this research that's happening is working, or it seems to be, and that helps more funds, more awareness to continue these trials to hopefully result in something that's approved and just available to these kids. And Sanfilippo can be, a thing of the past. It's just something kids are born and with. You can treat it, and it's not the terminal, diagnosis that it has been up to this point.
Man, that's. The treatment that he's taking right now, can you actually see a difference? Can you see that it's really working?
We feel we can, because like he's saying more now than he was a year ago. Because really there's not gonna, with these treatments for Sanfilippo, there's a handful out there that are in like clinical trials, or there's one that's pending FDA approval, a different treatment than what Clark's getting, but nothing's going to necessarily be a cure. Nothing's going to reverse, like, because the kids, they're sustaining, or they're getting brain damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to reverse any damage, but it'll keep more from happening. And so in Clark's case, he's definitely delayed compared to other 5, almost 6-year-olds, but he's not regressing. He's behind, but he hasn't lost skills.
Good.
And he continues to learn, albeit at a slower pace than his peers at the same age, but he's still learning. And any learning would mean that it must be working, because the natural course of Sanfilippo would be to lose skills, lose the ability to talk, forget how to say things. Most kids are no longer, if they were able to talk, they lose that ability. They forget what, any words they had previously learned by the time they're 5, 6 years old. Many are in wheelchairs or strollers because they lose the ability to brain loses the ability to communicate with the arms and legs, things like that. So where he's, if you were to meet him, you would think he's just a normal 5-year-old with maybe like a learning disability at worst, not a disease that is pretty terrible in its natural course in most cases. So we do feel like it's working. There's physical symptoms of Sanfilippo that are not, it's not the trademark of the disease. It's really the neurological stuff that's the main symptom of the disease. But there are certain things, like kids with Sanfilippo, their bellies are a little bit bigger because it causes their that waste product builds up in their liver. so the liver gets big. And so if I were to, I mean, I could share them on Twitter, pictures of Clark when he is, 2, 3, 4 years old. His belly is huge, and we always just thought it was this fun little, little kid belly, but it was always kind of hard. And lo and behold, it's because his liver was enlarged and pushing his belly out. That's gone, completely gone in the last year that he's been on the treatment. So
That's awesome.
that treatment he's getting is the enzyme that he's missing is every other week injected directly into the brain through a port that he now has on his head. You can't see it; it's under the skin, and then they just stick a needle through and give him that enzyme, and it breaks down that waste product in his brain. It makes its way from the brain into the rest of his bloodstream. I guess gets to the organs and everywhere else in his body and clears out that waste product. So. As far as we can tell, it seems to be working. We don't get any other results of the labs they take, again, just for the integrity of the study. But we actually, being that we live in Michigan, the nearest geneticist is at U of M. So that's where actually he was diagnosed. So he has a follow-up appointment. We haven't been back there since he was diagnosed, since we've been doing all this stuff at the University of Minnesota. But we do have an appointment at U of M in the coming weeks where they can take labs, blood draws, things like that, and send them out for testing. And so we're hoping that we can actually see some actual data in the next month or so to see if it's working or not. So, but just based off of how he is growing and learning and doing great, we feel like it's working.
So happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm real happy, man.
Yeah, we're
hopefully
excited.
He continues to do well.
Yes, fingers crossed. We just keep going out there. The trials for 2 years. We're only at 6 months, so we've got at least another year and a half of every other week flying out to Minnesota and spending 2 days there and coming back home.
So far this year, how would you rate the Buckeyes so far, Japeth?
I have been very pleasantly surprised. With as many guys that we lost to the NFL, I never expect a down year for Ohio State, right? I don't expect us to have a bad season, but I think that they are a lot better than I probably anticipated coming out of the draft. I mean, I think Julian Sayin is as advertised. He's been extremely accurate with the football. Couple mistakes here and there, but I mean, it's first year starting, so to be expected. And I on Twitter, I feel like I see a lot more doom and gloom than I do anywhere else, and I feel like leading into this Washington game, I see a lot of. To be fair, they seem to be at least they're a good team.
They really are
to be respected, obviously. But I feel good going into this weekend. I think post playoff, post national championship Ryan Day is a different Ryan Day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have the same reservations going into bigger games currently that I may have in the past.
Absolutely. And I would say that Ryan Day, it's that pressure is finally off his back by winning the Natty. Now I think he can handle and he's won so many big games in multiple weeks in a row, multiple times, back to back. So it's now you're comfortable because he's comfortable with how to win big games now. And now you're just okay, Ryan Day can finally. The only game you need him to win is that one up north.
Yep, that's the one more. That's the one more. That way I can, being that I live in Michigan, that way I can stop hearing about it.
And we had talked about Penn State. A little friend of ours is in the chat as usual.
Penn State Sports Talk.
I always see him in the chat, and it's dude, we've seen your running backs before, and your running backs couldn't run a hole through Ohio State at any point in time. So
that's the Washington running back he's talking about. We haven't seen one like that. And that's true, we haven't yet.
I'll say this: he's better than Penn State's.
Hey, I wonder how the Penn State Sports Talk guy is going to feel when Jim Knowles bounces after a year.
All right, he's gonna take that Oklahoma State
I
job.
wonder how he's gonna feel if their defense ain't playing very well in the first year after all that talk they were talking about. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god! Like,
I'd be nervous about if I was a Penn State fan. I would be nervous playing Oregon.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel
not
great.
just Oregon, but it's like they kept
Yeah.
getting all this hype about playing against Ohio State, and it's like
Yeah.
now you're nervous.
Yeah,
And it's
I would
like
not feel great about this weekend.
I wouldn't feel great about this weekend. I would not feel great about the Ohio State game. I'm not feeling great
Nope.
about any big time game until James Franklin proves it. Because as much as we all went on Ryan Day, the reality is, with Ryan, at least he's a first time head coach trying to figure things out immediately. And once he does, we figured he'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, with with Franklin, it's like, dude, you've been a head coach longer than Ryan Day. You still ain't figured it out. He's staying home. Oh, you better hope he does. But if he does, who knows? Maybe your defense will be good. Let me see.
Super chat.
Yeah, super chat by RK Mangoes, who says Penn State Sports Talk, shut the y'all want to be a contender. Oh, that's funny. We are the third best team in the country. We'll be number 1 on Sunday. No, you won't. I promise you that.
You're the third best team in the country, and you'll probably end up that way too, buddy.
To be quite honest, I don't think anybody, like, people believe you were number 1 only because everybody believes you could do what Ohio State and Michigan did in back-to-back years with what they did. But I've gone on this show saying it before. If you look at what Ohio State and Michigan did in the recruiting trail and in the transfer portal, it wasn't just bring about the talent. It's what they did in those 2 areas. You have yet to do that. And let's be real, Ohio State brought the best out of both between the 2 teams. So, like, it's kind of like, be real about it. And they had a tougher schedule, which is more impressive.
Yep.
And went through a tougher road. So.
Yeah, Drew Eller's not the guy to do it. I mean.
I tell you what, I think Drew Ellers has a lot of ability, but his problem is where he's at. I mean, Ryan Day wanted him. If he would have went to Ryan Day, the kid would be, you know, an All-American. But where he went, he's not getting a development.
Yeah, I think he is a quarterback where if he had got the proper quarterback coaching, I think he could have been an absolute star. I really do. I think he could have been. But because you went to Penn State, no offense, but the last, like, Sean Clifford was the last good quarterback they had. But that's because, like, he's a great backup quarterback in the NFL, but he's not like a starter or anything. So, like, if Drew Allen is comfortable with being a backup quarterback, that's fine. You know what I mean? But it's like, if you wanted to be a starter, Penn State was probably not the best place for you.
You know, there's.
I'm hearing those.
You don't back it up, guys. You know.
Yeah, she ain't lying though. Like he ain't lying though. Like, they always talk, and then when they get their teeth kicked in, they don't know what to say after that point. I'm hearing Knowles wants to go to Oklahoma State. He's a Vader, and he does have some good sources too. So, you know, if he does, you know, that'd be funny. Even though, again, I don't think he is head coach material, but go ahead, try.
He may want to give it a whirl.
Now, J-Pith, you're pretty close to Lansing, correct?
Yeah, we live right outside. I'm like a good 15 minutes from East Lansing, so not too far from Spartan Stadium, actually.
What's the Michigan State fans like this year? How are they feeling about their team since they just got mollywopped by USC?
Yeah, I mean, I think they feel great considering all things considered. I mean, that program has been in shambles since the whole debacle with Mel Tucker. So I think they're just glad to be kind of competing at this point. So, like, I mean, around here, they feel very confident that they're beating Michigan this year. They're very high on Aiden Childs. They see, at the moment, the holes in the secondary for Michigan.
That's true.
And I think they feel good. They're definitely missing the defenses that they were used to under D'Antonio, but that's really what's biting them in the butt because their offense, it's productive right now. So Aiden Childs and Nick Marsh are a great duo right now. But no, I mean, they're very Michigan State fans around here, they could go and win 0 games, and the next season they're like, we're going to beat everybody, and we're going to beat Michigan. And that's just how they feel every year.
And look, I would say this about Michigan State. I think that they are a really good team.
Mhm.
The secondary has holes, and I think they can fix that. Like, at least you got a good D line, you got good linebackers. It's just your secondary. You can fix
Mhm.
that little issue. You could become once again a competent Big Ten team. Maybe
Mhm.
even a contender for the Big Ten championship once again. Maybe because I like how Jonathan Smith has this team coached. How he's done with with Childs, you can see the potential was there immediately. You just knew.
Mhm.
And then with his connection with Marsh, it was right there. Like, I look at this offense,
Stud.
bro, this offense is so good. Like, they've really
Mhm.
developed. They really come along. And like I said, the defense has come along. Just fix your secondary. I'm not gonna lie, they absolutely could be Michigan. Because here's the funny thing: if you're Michigan
Yeah.
State, at least you ain't got to worry about the passing game. The only thing you got to worry about is him rolling out to the left, rolling out
Yep.
to the right to pass. That's all you got to do.
Right.
That's all you got to worry about, man.
I tell you what they need
Yep.
to worry about though is protecting Childs, because I tell you what,
Mhm.
Michigan's secondary might stink, but that front seven's no joke. I
Yeah, they
mean,
were eating up Raiola.
Oh my
Well, I
He was
mean, if
miserable
you
first,
really
but
think about it, that Nebraska offensive line is not good. So they're not
he was.
good. I'm sorry to tell people, because I watched that same D line against Oklahoma, who has a better front than Nebraska, and they were getting mixed. Like, they were getting
Mhm.
slapped around like children
I
by
just,
Oklahoma. So it's like,
Yeah.
I just don't know how Michigan State's line is. So I mean, I love Childs. I think he's got a lot of potential, and Marsh is a stud. He's a verified stud, but hopefully they can beat Michigan. That would be funny to see.
I
Yeah.
think they can. Because again, when
Yeah.
it comes to Michigan's wide receivers, do you got really anything to worry about? No. And for sports talk, let's be realistic when we talk about this. Oklahoma State is not Ohio State. I'm sorry to tell you, brother. Like, OSU, there's two different ones. You got one that's at the bottom of the earth right now in the Big 12, and then you got one that's at the top of college football of the most prestigious program, buddy. There's two sets of different OSUs here. Knowles got hired by Ohio State for the simple fact of they liked his defense. Even when there was some flaws, and they knew there was, they liked what his defense could bring. Even though there were some significant flaws that needed to get fixed. So,
Now, Japheth, what is your prediction for the record this year for Ohio State? What do you see them doing, and what would you be happy with?
Yeah, I mean, probably going into the season, like I said, I'm not saying my expectations were lower, but just with the productivity that was lost to the NFL, I was like, yeah, I could see it, 11-1, 10-2, and I wouldn't be upset by that. And with especially when at the time prior to the season, like you said, there was the whole Penn State's going to do the same thing that
Mm-hmm.
Michigan did. Penn State's going to do the whole same thing that Ohio State did, bring all their guys back, and they're going to run college football. I don't feel that way now. And so that I don't feel that way. Oregon, could if we see them in the Big Ten championship, you never know. But it could go either way. So I guess we'll learn a lot about Penn State and Oregon this weekend. But I think they can go undefeated. I think they can. I think they can run the table in the Big Ten. I don't see anything on the schedule that prevents them from doing that. So.
Hey,
only one.
I agree. I think the ceiling's undefeated, and I think the floor. I mean, two losses at the most, if any. Illinois, and maybe, God say, till he beats the team up north. The team up north. I mean, till he proves he can do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
Washington might be tougher. I mean, Illinois. I mean, Indiana really put it to them.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, Indiana actually might be a better team than what we think, because Illinois really is a good team. But man,
Yeah.
Indiana, they showed they were much better in this side, and that is a good team. Like, I'm not gonna underestimate Illinois just because they lost to Indiana. Like, I think it shows Indiana might actually be a tier 2 team for once. Like,
Yep.
oh my god, Indiana of all teams.
I mean,
I know. I'll see how much longer he sticks around there. He's old though.
you know what though? He said he wants to do it there. He didn't want to leave for a big time school. He wanted to make Indiana a powerhouse. And you know what? The last couple of years, they have invested a lot into their facilities. The stadium's beautiful. I mean, it would be nice to see Indiana, be a consistent power in the Big Ten. That would be nice.
That would be amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but no, when I look, yeah, I mean, based on the schedule, I think they're fully capable, and they're just going to keep getting better. Sand's going to keep getting better with the ball. I think Bo Jackson's going to be the guy, and that's going to make a huge difference going forward. And as far as defense looks great, I think Matt Patricia's confusing quarterbacks. That's one thing coming up this weekend. With how Washington's quarterback has played very well, but it seems to, Matt Patricia's defense seems to be throwing these, quarterbacks into chaos, trying to figure out what he's doing. Granted, I don't really know what to think about Arch yet, but he was in a blender in the Texas game. Trying to figure out what was going on. So, but I always, working with, I work with a lot of Michigan fans, and they ask, how do you feel about stopping this quarterback on Saturday? And I was like, we got a Caleb Downs, man. That's all. We've got a Caleb Downs, and that's all. That's enough for me to feel
Arvell
confident
Reese.
going into
Don't
the
forget
game.
about Arvell.
Arvell Reese.
Because
Yes.
Arvell will be spying him like no tomorrow.
And we got
100%.
Sonny Styles. And Sonny Styles, we got we got the most athletic LB room in the nation. So, I mean,
The best linebacker room in the nation.
Yeah, and honestly, it's funny because all I was thinking about last night as a Lions fan, watching the Lions contain Lamar, was right there. There it is. What they're doing is what we will need to see on Saturday, as far as containing him on the edge and not not missing tackles. That was something that watching the Michigan game, I was just like, holy cow, Nebraska. I feel like
Their tackling
never
was
seen.
horrendous.
It was atrocious. And then
It
the
was
same
bad.
thing was happening in the Washington State game, just missed tackles all over the place, where negative plays turned into big gains.
You know what's super funny is, like, when I watched the Nebraska game, I'm like, I could tell they have no, like, and this is very obvious with Michigan too. Both these teams have no depth, because I'm watching Nebraska. I'm like, their defense was winded because their offense could not sustain a drive for nothing, so they were winded, and they had no players that could step on the field to help these guys out. If you think about it, for Nebraska, I mean, think about it. You had a defensive lineman on the field. You remember how we were with Tommy Aguilar, where he was like two thumbs when he played with like broken thumbs? This guy had a whole cast on his hand when he was playing, and it's like, I'm like, look, I can understand it because Tommy Eichenberg, at least he said, listen, I don't want to quit, I want to keep playing. But with this guy, I'm like, he should not be playing, because that injury does not like, if you got a cast that big on your hand, you should not be playing. But it really tells you have no depth on that team whatsoever.
What's it say that he's the best player at that position with one arm? I mean, the guys behind him got to be pretty sorry that, hey, the one arm guy's playing over me.
Right.
I tell you what, Nebraska is fraudulent. Everybody was so high on them; they're fraudulent.
Look, I wasn't saying like they were high on them. I would mean like people were thinking that maybe they could finally have a breakout season for once, like you could finally start. Yeah. Nobody was so high on them. It was more like you were just waiting. Like you might say, "Oh, this is the season they could finally break out," because Dylan Raiola did look good last year. But it's like you could tell, if you were paying attention, that team has so many problems that they need to work out. Like Dylan Raiola is not getting the proper quarterback coaching, because I noticed this. He locks on one read and he stays on that. Like once he gets off that, he doesn't know how to read the rest of the field. And that's where his problem is. If he got the correct coaching, he could be a good quarterback because he's got talent. It's like, you just need to learn how to read the field, buddy.
Yeah, his awareness.
Stop locking on your first read. Like you had guys that were wide open and you're missing them. You had chances, buddy.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's going to be like, well, I mean, you never know, but Underwood's experience so far too at Michigan is just, you get this 5-star quarterback and you pay outrageous money for him, and he's got all the talent in the world, but when 15% of his incompletions or whatever it was are just drops, and you don't put receivers around him that can, that he can utilize and catch the ball.
Well, Michigan
it doesn't matter how good he
receivers. Is. Let me tell you something right now. Michigan can't develop receivers for a while. They haven't had good receivers since Edwards, since Manningham, and Arrington. Since those guys, they haven't had good receivers. And then secondly, I said it before, they ain't got the coaching to develop him. whatsoever.
Right. The
Like,
coaching
and their
staff's
offensive line.
identity is still in a run first offense. And Justin said, with Haynes, I mean, rightly so, maybe.
I mean, not
But
well. Here's the reality, though, because if you really watch it, it's like every team knows to fill the box and to like,
mhm,
because I've seen it in the Nebraska game at times. I've seen it in the Oklahoma game a lot. I even seen it in the New Mexico game where teams stacked the box and they were stuffing that run game. When they
mhm,
broke off big runs, it's when these players got out of their gaps.
mhm.
Against Michigan, you have to be gap disciplined and gap sound. You have to be. You cannot let Justice Haynes get any open field. That
Yeah.
guy only runs real fast and real good when he got an open lane. He ain't got
Mhm.
that. He's just an average running back.
Well, I tell you what, the one thing I did notice about the coaching staff, though, Michigan, I will give them credit with what they were doing with Underwood, the way they were calling the game, is because they were making him roll out, where he's only having to read half the field. It was one read, two reads, that was it.
Well,
Run.
if you think about
So,
it too, though, like you could also say like the Nebraska coaching staff was dumb because it's like, how you not catching on to this? How you not catching on to this offense, bro?
Mhm.
He's just rolling out. Just don't have a spy on him and have everybody else on these receivers. Don't let them get open.
because it was just either hit the tight end right away. I mean, you're either gonna go at the receiver, or you're gonna hit the tight end. I mean, if you take away their tight ends, I mean, they're screwed in the passing game.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
They
I mean,
are.
they got two good tight ends. I'll give them that. And I mean, the other
Those are the
receiver,
main ones you take away. Like you double team those guys. Like if you got the defensive backs that go toe to toe with them receivers, you're good. That's
Caleb.
why. That's why I'm not worried about like us against their team fully because it's like you can see their offense because our defense will mollywop their offense. The only thing you're worried about for Ohio State is what is your offensive game plan because that is what cost
Mhm.
you last year. The game
100%.
plan on the offense. It wasn't
Yep.
to play in Michigan. They did not beat us. We beat ourselves. What is
Mhm.
the game plan of Ryan Day and the Ohio State offense for this defense? Because if you really look at it, that defense is not very good. They really aren't. Like I know they play good against Nebraska, but again, Nebraska has their own issues. We
Mhm.
seen you against Oklahoma, and you left a lot of players open as to where if their quarterback actually put some air on the ball, they actually would have beat you by like 50-some points. So that's the only thing. Is like their defense ain't good. Their secondary really ain't that great.
No.
Their front seven, like I said, like if you got a good enough offensive line, like for instance, we got two freaking monstrous tackles in Austin Saravale and Philip Daniels, who are mean, nasty dudes. So it's like, and I watched Rod Moore, the guy who's talking all that mess about Ohio State, and that other edge rusher against Oklahoma's offensive line, they were getting stonewalled. So it's like,
Hey, Penn State sports talk shows how much you know. Cardell wasn't there when Ryan Day was coach. Man, you're a complete
right? Are you
moron.
dumb? Are you dumb,
I
brother?
mean, honestly, just go sit down, bro.
Yeah, but this like, dude, if Ryan Day was there during the Cardell Jones era, Cardell will be an NFL quarterback for like the next 8 to 10 years. I'm sorry to tell you,
No
he will
forever.
be. Vader has a question. If for you, is there if there is anything Buckeye Nation could do to help the Clark and his family, like basically you all, what is it?
Yeah. So I mean, right now we're doing great. Like I said, we're in this clinical trial, but it's all paid for by the trial sponsors. So there's nothing that like personally we need. So we always just direct people to the Cure Sanfilippo Foundation website. That is the foundation that there's a couple foundations out there, but they're kind of the largest one, and they have been probably the most influential in getting the money that's donated to where it really should go or where it can best be utilized. So a lot of these trials, like the one that Clark's in, a lot of them are funded by just people who are willing to help, or fundraisers by parents just donating to the Cure Sanfilippo Foundation. So, and then they make sure it gets to who it needs to. So you can go to their website. There's like a meet the families tab, and then you can actually scroll through and look at the pictures of all the different kids with Sanfilippo, and Clark's pictures on there. Click on his name, and then you can actually donate through him, and it's just donated in his honor, so to speak. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Eric's question in a minute, but Penn State guy, please shut your mouth.
Dude, we have the
Shut-
highest GPA for football player. I mean, Ohio State grade point average for sports. I mean, for
Perfect
football.
1,000.
I mean, just go sit down, man. I mean,
perfect 1,000. And not only that, but Ohio State is still the most prestigious program that still owns the Big Ten, and guess what? Still owns Penn State. And the one time y'all beat Ohio State was based on a fluky blocked field goal in a game that you really shouldn't have won. Like, Ohio State was literally handing you the game, and y'all literally almost figured out a way to lose. If it weren't for that fluky blocked field goal, y'all would have lost that game.
That would have been it.
Man, the ref didn't know what pass interference was either. So
it's like, please get real, brother. I'm sorry, but the reality is about Penn State. Until Penn State shows they can win big time games when it matters, because at least for Ryan Day, like I said, he's a first time head coach that's figured it out. With James Franklin, there's no excuse, dude. You've been in college football way longer than Ryan Day. Heck, you've been a head coach longer than him, and you still can't win the big one. So screw off, and you got the talent to do it. So until he finds a way, no.
You choked last year in the playoffs. You should have beat you should beat Notre Dame, and you choked it away. Choked it away.
Choked it.
Massive.
Yeah. And now Eric, our the OHL podcast owner, basically asks, you do know Ohio State's traveling across the country. Oh God. Okay, I see the joke there. Hey Lisa, I know we've seen a lot of new people too, like Auntie B and a bunch of others, but you know, when it comes to the Ohio State Buckeyes, how would you feel if they did go back to back this year? Just if.
I mean, I'd be pretty ecstatic. That would be, that'd be incredible. I mean, people around here wouldn't be able to handle me living in Michigan. They wouldn't be able to handle me.
I'll tell you what, if you ever need any help, I'm only 40 minutes away from the border, bro. So
they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't be able to.
I'll come up and help you, man, if you need any help. But I mean, it's never happened. I mean, both times in my life that I saw it. I mean, 2003 they chose. I mean, they blew the game to Wisconsin and Michigan. Then 2015 was. I still, for the life of me, do not know. Besides Ed Warner's stupidity, how you lose to Michigan State at home. I mean, give the ball to Zeke 100 times, and you guys should have won that. I mean,
oh, absolutely. I absolutely believe they should have done that because Zeke was unstoppable. And Eric's really roasting the heck out of he says, looks like to me you're just hedging your bets and putting in prepared excuses in case you drop a game, in case you drop it to Oregon on the whiteout. Oh, wow. If they did, that would be funny.
I'm predicting something. And I'm not predicting back-to-back national championships. I'm predicting a three-peat. I think they win 3 in a row because I think next year's team's going to be even better than this year's team. And I tell you what, we're still working. I mean, Brian Hartline's still learning how to call plays right now.
But he's doing pretty well at it so far.
He's doing pretty well. But, I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of the potential of this team, and they beat Texas, the number 1 ranked team. So, I mean, we want it like last year. We want to be playing our best ball at the end of the year.
Yep.
Going into the playoffs. I think if that happens again, you know.
Right. Yeah, I think you're. I don't think you're wrong. You said post Natty Ryan Day is a different beast, and I just have this feeling that this weekend, and then as we go into these large games, that the type of games that we saw in the playoff, coming out hot and not looking back, is going to be the new norm. Or what we should at least expect
I would love
from Ryan Day.
I think that's what it's going to be.
I made a tweet today that I was just kind of trying to be funny about. I think that a lot of Ohio State fans are still reeling from certain losses we had under Urban with the Purdue loss or the Iowa loss. Games that we had no business losing. And that's just caused this Ohio
you don't
State.
have to worry about it.
Yeah,
you ain't got to worry about that under Ryan Day. You don't, because he doesn't outside of the scum game last year, which that's understandable because of a mental block they put on him, which hopefully he breaks out of. But it's outside of that game, he really doesn't lose games he has no business losing, so you're not worried about that. And when it comes to Shaun's three-peat, because think about it, it's a potential for that to happen because there's no superstar team for Ohio State to go up against this year. And next year, Ohio State has the potential to be better than what they were this year. So, like,
Right.
it kind of almost feels like when you go to, like, 2014 and then you win the national championship, and then we were a better team in 2015, but we choked it because of the mistakes that we made. If you really think about it with Ryan Day, I don't think we don't have to worry about him losing games he has no business losing to. And as Shaun said, we want to peak at games when it matters. Like, if you want to know the truth of this, LSU back in 2019, like, people really do overvalue this team in a lot of ways, because what people fail to understand is the entire season, LSU did not look like no national title team. They really didn't. Like, go back and look at 2019 LSU. They did not look like a national title team until the final 4 games of the season. Their rivalry game at the end of the season, their conference title game, the semifinals, and then the national title game. Those are the 4 games they look like national champions, and they went on a historic run. That's exactly what Ohio State did in 2024. We did not look like a national title team all year. We did not, especially in our rivalry game. But then we go on this 4-game win streak and just dominated and look like the national championship beast that we were. Like, I think that's what this team is going to do. I think every single year. I think that's going to be their main formula. Is we're going to win the games, but we're not going to peak at that point in time. What we are going to do is we are going to peak at the right time. We're going to peak at the final 4 games of the season. That's when we peak. We peak at those 4 games, the playoff games. That's where we peak. That's where. And I think that's the smart approach to it, too.
Well, this year he really didn't have. I mean, that's basically what they had to do this year, because I mean, you had a quarterback that hadn't started a game. I mean, you had to rely on your defense. You had to play good special teams, and you didn't put too much on the kid where he's going to be, overloaded where he might throw the game away. So I mean,
I think the game plan in Texas was great in that sense.
I mean, one hell of a job they did with the game plan. And he carried it out. I tell you what, Julian Sane is going to be a stud. He's going to be awesome. You can see it. I mean, they just had to take it easy with him to ease him into it. But man, he did a heck of a job.
He did, and I'm all into the Sane thing. I've hinted at it on Twitter, but personally I'm a big fan of, like, Dragon Ball, and so when I saw, back even when he decided to transfer to Ohio State from Alabama, and I was like, we got Julian Saiyan, and in Dragon Ball they go Super Saiyan, and so I was like, this is fantastic. I've got a Dragon Ball tattoo on my arm here, half sleeve, and I was like, this is fantastic. I am all in on Julian Saiyan, and now he's performing and living up to the hype. So I'm happy with what I've seen from him, and I think he's going to have a very good game on Saturday.
Yeah. I think that from what we're going to see of this team for years to come is I think Ryan Day will finally get over the scum hump, and I think he'll start beating them every year, because I think that would have been an ongoing case had the cheating not started. I think we would have been beating them all them years. But I always say this, for as much as we hate the losses to scum, they may have painted Ryan Day into something better. This might actually be the one biggest positive that you could paint for Ryan Day as far as the losses to scum is it may have prepared him to become a much better coach. Like, it taught him how to deal with adversity, how to handle and navigate, but also it taught him some lessons about the game itself and how he needs to win this game. I think is what it taught him. And I think it might, and for Michigan fans, this might be the worst thing in the world, because if these losses actually help Ohio State, because we talked about it before, Shaun, remember, like, how we said Ohio State always had that next level they could get to, but could never quite break through. I think that these losses to Michigan might have helped Ohio State get to that next level and may have helped us with our head coach, because we thought about it. Ryan Day could be the next version of, Nick Saban, because when you look at everything he does, because everybody always wants to compare certain coaches to Nick Saban, and we know, like, finding Nick Saban, you always think it's impossible because Saban is Saban. Like, Saban is a different breed. He is, it's true. But you actually have to think about it, because they always say his former coaches could be the next him. But the reality is, when you look at what Ryan Day is doing, it is very similar to Saban in so many ways for this reason. Like, I talked about how he does his coaching hires now. It's very similar to Saban, because remember, he hired Matt Patricia to have somebody watching over the defense so he ain't worried about that later. Like, yeah, he would have hired internally, but not while he's hiring Brian Hartline. Like, he wants Brian Hartline to be that next offensive coordinator. And once Hartline is fully comfortable and Ryan Day can have him calling plays and he doesn't have to worry about it so much, maybe at that point he hires from within. Because I think Tim Walton would be the next DC, in my opinion.
I just don't think he wanted to have two guys that he had to be.
No, that's the point, because that's why
exactly.
that's what Saban did. Because Ryan Day's specialty is offense, and he's gonna internally hire on the offensive side of the ball and hire somebody on the defense to like really make it better, to like really so he's not worrying about it. Like, he needed a head coach of the defense to watch over it. That's what Saban would do on the offensive side of the ball. Because what is his specialty? Defense.
Secondary.
So it's like. I mean, we talked about it before. It's basically Ryan Day is basically the Nick Saban of offense, where it's just they did the same thing on the opposite side. So the reality is, I think Ryan Day could be, because I think he absolutely has what it takes, and he presents a lot of the same things as Saban. And as he said himself, he talks to Saban a lot. He really does ask Saban about everything, like from his time at Ohio State all the way to his time at LSU and Bama, his run, how he did things. Like, Ryan Day, I think one of the greatest advantages he does have is you're talking to former coaches from Ohio State, like Urban Meyer, Jim Tressel. You're talking to John Cooper, even from his own experiences. You're talking to now Nick Saban. And, you know, if he wanted to, he could get Chip Kelly to put freaking Pete Carroll on the phone, who people tend to forget is another former Ohio State coach. So, you know, if he wanted to, he can ask them about how they did things. Now, I don't think Ryan Day is going to like take everything they did, but I think he's going to pretty much look at what they did and try to accumulate it in his own way as to how he can run his team. But in his own way, like how he can make it and how he can incorporate it into his team in his way. So I think when you look at Ryan Day, he's looking to become better as a coach, and he's not satisfied with just one natty. He wants to win more. He does not want his team to get lazy. He does not want them to be up their butt. He does not want them to be complacent. He wants them to continue doing this for years to come. And I think that's why we're going to be in the middle of a dynasty run at Ohio State, for that very reason, because he's looking for reasons to really take Ohio State to the next level. And that if that does happen, thank you, Michigan. And guess what? You basically helped yourselves become even more miserable. Think about that if you're Michigan. Think about that if you're Michigan.
The thing that people anticipated, I think, outside of the Ohio State fan base coming into the season, is that I think people felt that he was more of a, I want it, cool, I accomplished all, what I wanted to accomplish. There was going to be this receding of Ohio State after last season. Like, they're going to have a down year. And I don't think they realized, like you said, like, it's not just one. He doesn't want just one.
He wants to be the best Ohio State coach of all time. He wants to catch Woody Hayes. That's what he said.
He wants to be the best. I think he wants to be the best college football coach of all time. I don't think Ohio State. Yes.
I think he wants to be the best, not only in Ohio State, but also all time. Like, he wants to catch Saban. He wants to catch Woody Hayes.
And he's gonna, in my opinion, he would. It's even more hard. It's even harder now because everybody's got the NIL. Everybody.
I mean, here's the funny thing. Here's the one thing. Everybody has NIL, but we talked about this on the show before. You get at what happened to Texas A&M?
That's right.
Yeah, like, it's not just champion. Like, it's not just money. Like, yes, Ryan Day and the people have the money, but you see how they spend it responsibly. Like, they mainly focus on using it on the players that are already here and players in the portal that are proven who fit their culture.
Right.
They don't use it on recruits like that. Like, they're only using it on, like, they'll still pay recruits, but they're not going to pay them like $1 million or $2 million like you're seeing some of these other desperate schools doing. Like, they preside culture above all, because that's what wins you championships. And Saban said the same thing. It's like, culture wins you championships. Like, how else do you think Saban created that dynasty? That was the culture that he built. Same with Bill Belichick, like what he did with the Patriots. Like, the Patriot way wasn't just the same. That was a culture that they built over there, that Bill Belichick built. I mean, look at the Kansas City Chiefs now with Andy Reid. I mean, they built a culture over there that lasted to a point where they managed to become a dynasty in college, in the NFL as well. And it's like, that's what it comes down to in all of sports. It's not just football, but that's all of sports. If you want to win championships, it all depends on the culture you have. And it all depends on who's setting that culture, from not only the people in the school, in the administrative of the school, but also in the coaching and in the players. So who's setting that? And that's why I'm so happy we have Ryan Day, because it's telling me we got a head coach and he's setting a culture that the players follow. and those players are ingraining it, and these newcomers that come in are being integrated into the culture as well. They're learning and they're taking that with them, not only through their pro careers, but also in life too.
And I think to Ryan Day's credit, that's just harder to accomplish now. In this NIL era, where you can pull a Nico and be like, I'm heading to UCLA, and it's harder. Like I said, to his credit, it's much harder to create that culture now than in past years, and for him to do that and do it successfully is, I think, what would set him apart even from Saban if he continues to find success and win national championships. Like what you did was far harder to do what you did in the NIL era than what Saban did prior.
There's no doubt, because I mean, before the coaches had all the power. I mean, you couldn't just leave like you can now because you had to sit out a year. They would tell these kids, go ahead. If you leave, you're gonna have to sit out a year, and who's gonna take you? I mean, the NIL and the transfer portal basically made everything even for everybody. So it's definitely, there's no more stacking your talent like Saban used to do, and 5-star upon 5-star upon 5-star.
And when you look at Ohio State, they're somehow still able to do that stack talent.
That's because why? They have the
culture.
Exactly.
Yep. So,
and think about it too. It's not just like that, but they're, like I said, they're very responsible with how they do it too, because they tell these kids, listen, you're going to get paid, but everything you do is completely dependent on what you do on the field, because you have to understand. And I think the one thing as to what Ohio State tells these kids, and I think there's a reason why they don't pay them so much money, is because it's like, if you're not going to be an immediate impact player like a Jeremiah Smith, then no, we're not going to pay you.
Right.
That's going to be the standard. That's the standard. You got to be an immediate impact player. But the other part of it is also that pressure. Because, I mean, again, Ohio State fans. Well, what do we say?
Yeah.
What do we say? Like, so Ohio State even knows. Like, it's already pressure enough being an Ohio State player. You don't want to put that kind of pressure on these guys now. Like, and some of these guys just make that decision based on their living situation with their families, and they want to get them out of and so I can't blame them for doing that, because that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you're going to make the best choices for what you think is best for your family. But yeah, no, I think for Ohio State, it's just, again, a lot of these kids, they enjoy coming here. They love the culture, and that's all they talk about is, like, the culture that's being here, the coaches that are here, the players, the brotherhood. That's all everybody talks about. And when you think about it, every single player says it. They love Ohio State, but sometimes they have to make decisions based on their financial situation. Now, some just want money and that's it, even if their financial situation is good and everything. But most just make decisions based on how their family situation is going. So again, I don't blame them for that. But Ohio State's always going to take care of their talent first before they think about, like, just paying kids automatically. Like, nah, you got to understand that.
Well, if kids come to Ohio State, they're taken care of because you're in the largest alumni base, the contacts you make. I mean, these kids are given the opportunity to intern at some of the biggest companies in the world because, I mean, Columbus is the capital. It's a white-collar city. There's a bunch of Fortune 500 companies in Columbus. I mean, there's a lot of internships. A lot of these kids, make plenty of contacts. I mean, a lot of these former Buckeyes that don't go on to the pros, they get connected real good with jobs as soon as they graduate. And even,
it's actually
and even
segue to that point, just something I forgot to mention earlier that was really cool with Clark, his treatment that we go out to Minnesota for. There is a designated nurse that gives him his treatment, and she is a Buckeye grad. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yep. So when we found that out, we were like, we know we're in the right place. So the alumni, like you said, the alumni base is very broad. So
it is.
Yeah, and a former a bunch of former Ohio State players have talked about it too. Like they even they talk like as if they known each other for years too. Like that's the better part of it, because it's like for most of these former players, it's like, man, it's like we talk with these older guys or the younger guys, and it's like we feel like we've known each other, even though we haven't seen each other like that.
Yep.
That's awesome. I mean, the brotherhood was established a long time ago. It's just great how with each coach that came in, it's just they kind of put their own spin on it, but it's like they made it stronger. You know,
as
it's
the years went on.
been, you know, Urban made it one way, then, you know, they took what Urban made and made it his own. But I mean, he built
Yep.
off of it. They just kept building off of it. I mean,
Honestly, you can say that with every Ohio State coach. Is like when people talk about when Ryan Day took over, it's like, guys, every coach from Ohio State took over a situation that was already stable. And they just kept it that way and built on it. So it's like when you want to call somebody a third base head coach for taking over a good situation, you can say that about every Ohio State head coach. Every last one of them. You can say it about them because
except Tressel, because Cooper was.
Well, I would say with Cooper, it's more so because of his losses against Michigan. Even though he did he set up a great situation as far as the recruiting, the players, and everything. Like he really did. And he did have a winning record. It's just that he couldn't win the bowl games and he couldn't beat Michigan. Those were his two biggest blemishes. But he did set up Ohio State for long-term success. And think about it. Tressel won the national championship with whose players?
Well, mostly Cooper's.
Pretty much. Like, he had some of his own, but he won with mostly Cooper. So when you think about it, he did took over a good situation. He just managed to take it to a point where we could finally beat our arch rivals. And we won the national championship for the first time since 72? So it's like...
Since 68. But, I mean, if you look, the last 2 years Cooper was there, last 2 or 3 years, it just kind of started going down, and Tressel had a way of bringing... I mean, like they said, it was a totally different atmosphere when Tressel got in there. He got that team together. They were a stronger unit. I mean, Cooper made...
And look at it, too, though, because don't forget, Tressel did coach at Ohio State as an assistant, so he understands it better than Cooper did, because Cooper was like an outsider, obviously. He did, he got it, but not, to the full extent in which Tressel does. It's because he's from Ohio, he coached here, and then he comes back to really establish Ohio State back at the top of the mountain. So, while Cooper established a good situation, it's more of you didn't fully take advantage of it the way you should have. Because you had all that talent, and you should have taken advantage of all of it. Yeah. Should have.
I mean, and that's been the argument against Ryan Day up until last year, which is he's not an Ohio guy. He doesn't have the connection that Tressel did or that, Urban had. There's not, but he's gotten it in other ways, though.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Like, you can still have the connections to Ohio State. Like, it's not like you got to be born from Ohio. Like, you have to grow up in the Buckeye.
Yeah, I'm not.
You would have to grow up that way. You have to grow up that way. Like, and that's not what they did. Or Cooper. Like, neither of them grew up in the Ohio State. Neither of them grew up Ohio State fans. So, like, you could be a Buckeye. You don't have to be from Ohio. You just have to be a part of the culture. You have to grow up in it, and they didn't. So, I think that's one thing. And I think for Ryan Day, think about it. I think he's really understood the culture a lot. I think he gets Ohio State better than Cooper did. And if you also think about it too, like his kids, they're Ohio State fans. That's all they know now. It's just the Buckeyes. That's all they know.
Yeah, but I think Ryan Day has allowed. To your point earlier, I think he has allowed the Michigan losses to bring more of that out of him, where maybe that wasn't the case. Where he's not an Ohio guy with maybe that didn't have the connections to Ohio State to really get it the way somebody like Urban or Tressel did, but those Michigan losses have bothered him to the point that he gets it.
You could tell
because you could be one because he very well could have come in here and not been an Ohio guy and been like, you know what, I don't feel the same way about the Michigan losses that the fan base does. They don't bother me to the same extent that it bothers the Ohio State faithful, and not do anything to try to, overcome that and allow that to affect his coaching. But I think it has in a beneficial way that has now set them on a path, to where last year when it, go on a historic playoff run, win a national championship, and continue that into this season.
Well, I mean, he's on the verge of something of greatness. I'm telling you that right now. The program is firing on all cylinders. Recruiting, NIL, got the coaching staff the way he wants it. I mean, he's got a great young team filled with some veterans. So he's got a good mix of both this year, and next year's gonna be a veteran heavy team, and
Yep.
Seems to be set up for success.
Julian will have a whole season under his belt. We'll have a third-year Jeremiah Smith. Just
Second-year Bo Jackson.
Second year Bo Jackson. I think we're gonna have another year of Brandon Ennis, obviously, because I don't think he's gonna get the production he wants this year. But I think we are gonna have another year of him and Bryson Rogers potentially. And you know, I also think we could get Mylan Graham with Quincy Porter with some of our other younger guys too.
Guess who's coming to town though? Chris Henry.
Oh yeah, bro. I don't know if he'll play. I think he'll get a little bit of playing time here and there, but I don't think he's gonna get immediate.
Chris Henry will get a lot of playing time.
Man, if he shows up the way we think he all will, oh my god, I would love to see him at that point. We gonna have so much, bro. It's gonna be so like I'm excited to see what Brian, because again, like the reports are coming out that Brian Harline is looking to like really expand the rotation of the wide receivers more. So it's like I'm excited to see that.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but the last game he went four wides a couple times.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just like
Bryson, Brandon, Carnell, Jeremiah. Like, oh my god! Like, and think about it too. But don't also forget, the dude also knows how to use the tight ends.
Yeah.
Like we didn't talk about the tight ends at all. Like we got 4 tight ends, the best tight end room. Not just 4. Like we got the best tight end room because you got like Nate Roberts who's showing something. You still got Max LeBlanc. Like you still Brody Leonard. Even though he's not going to play this year, you can tell that kid's a future stud. It is like And the way we had 4. We see Jelani and Bennett, of course, and Will Kazmeri. Like the fact that we had them out there with Max Clare, these 4. And then we had Nate Bennett at the 5 playing like fullback. When we had those guys in there, if you're a team, how you finna stop this? Because now this passing attack, you're not just talking about the receivers. Now you're talking about the tight ends. And think about it, like everybody had laughed at. Everybody did not think highly of Keenan Bailey's hire, and then look how he just transformed the tight end room overnight.
Yep. No, I'm excited for Saturday. Because I mean, I'll probably get to more of it this week watching Washington's games up to this point. But I mean, kind of the same thing with Michigan. Like their biggest holes is their secondary. That's where I think we're gonna. I mean, I think we're gonna score points and we're gonna score a lot.
To spread them out, man. I would spread them out. I would go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's their weakness, spread it out, protect Sane, and let them throw the ball out.
I mean,
we're still going to want to try to run some too. I get it. But man, if
the spread's 8.5 right now. It's free money.
I think that's free money. For sure. And he's a funny
25 game winning streak, I believe.
22
because
at home.
It's so loud. I'm not gonna lie. Like Washington's home stadium might actually be louder than Alton. And Alton was loud. It just MT79 just said, "Do Bo Jackson be better than?" I think I know what he said.
Not better than the original Bo Jackson. No, that dude was a freak.
Is that the lick, Chris Henry? Yes. He's talking about Chris Henry Jr. Yes, that's Chris Henry's late son.
Now, J-Fifth, what we always ask our guests here at the end, towards the end of the show, we've been on here for over almost an hour and a half. We'd like to get a score prediction from you, and not only a score prediction, but give us an offensive MVP and a defensive MVP.
Yeah, I think Carnell Tate might be the guy on offense. I think there's going to be a lot of focus on Jeremiah, and that is going to open things up for. I mean, that's already kind of been
happening.
Yes, I think it's going to continue to happen. The strength is so far. Washington's strength has been their run defense so far. So I've got to wait and see how our rushing attack looks, because I was feeling really great about Bo Jackson after the Ohio game. So, but I think Carnell Tate might have a kind of a open game for us, and then Arvell Reese is going to be the big hitter on our defense. And then as far as the score, like I said, I feel differently than I have in the past, where I would probably have been more reserved in my score prediction, but I feel really great about the defense, and I think we're going to score a lot because I think we're going to pass on them a lot. So I mean, I would be pulling out like I feel good about like a 42-17.
Ooh.
Ooh. I was thinking like 35-14.
Give us a wild prediction. Like someone's gonna score a touchdown, an interception. Just do you have any wild predictions?
I think on my way home from work today, I was like, I feel like we're going to get a Caleb Downs pick. And I think that we're going to, I don't know who's going to force a fumble, but I think we're going to have multiple turnovers by the defense. I think they're going to play lights out. I feel really, really great about the defense. And that's where I know right now where the concern is in this mobile quarterback who can also throw the ball very well. But I think they're going to shut them down, and that would be my prediction. I think we're going to get a pick from Caleb, and then forced fumble somewhere.
Look at the two scores he put. At first, it was 31-24, and then 34-9. I'm so deep. I mean, hey, if the defense plays like that, which they absolutely can, hey, I can see that. But I think
like you said, with it being loud, I mean, like I said, I think they're going to come out hot. I think that's the new Ryan Day. Like I said, I think they're going to come out playing hot from the start. But being on the West Coast, I mean, 3:30 game, right? So it's going to be, what time over there? It's going to be like noon over there. It might throw them off a little bit, but, we'll see. But
I think if I would say when it comes, we're used to playing at noon. I mean, we have night games every now and again, but I would say when it comes to the when it comes to the loud stadium, I don't think that's gonna hurt Ohio State's defense, because remember we had one of the former defensive players on, Shaun, and he talked about how he said if you were to go on the road game, they prefer the road game because they have to be quiet for the offense to hear.
Yeah,
but they have to be loud for our office, for the opponent's office to be able to not hear. So when you think about it, it's kind of like, ooh, if you're a defense, it actually benefits you being on the road.
Well, I tell you what, if we come on, we put a couple of quick scores on them, that it's gonna take the crowd right out of the game. Man. So
for me, it's felt going into this, it's felt like a Rose Bowl situation for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, Mr. Bucknuts basically said it. Reese and Styles gonna eat. Yeah, I think they are too. I'm not gonna lie. I really think they could.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, I was 42-14. That was gonna be my guess. 42-14.
Yeah, I was thinking 35-14. Only because I can see like Ohio State. I mean, I could see them putting up the score a little bit, but if like the defense is out there, especially with how deep we are, I think they can hold them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think they also might get a cheap score at the end if we're playing some of our third stringers, and they keep their.
I mean, our third stringers are no joke though either, because our third stringers show they can play.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown it. Yeah. 45-14, Linda Jackson. And I do want to shout out Miss Auntie B, because she's someone we've seen up here as well. Let me go back all the way up to the top, because I know I've seen her right here.
Auntie B.
Yeah. Hey, can I shout them out? Like, if I see new people come in, I'm going to shout you out. So
thank you guys for coming in. Japeth, thank you so much for coming back on, bro.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. It's fun to talk football, especially since I don't get to do that around here very often, because nobody wants to hear me talk about Ohio State. So that's why I like to be as active on Twitter as I am, because it's the only community I've got to talk about Ohio State football, because it ain't happening with my peers or coworkers, because
obviously, because you're in a state that don't like Ohio State for the most part, unless you're in the Michigan, unless you're in a place around Michigan State where Michigan State and Ohio State fans get along real well.
Yeah, which I do. I mean, I'm in the Lansing area, so like there is the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing. But so that does help. But it is they don't want to get into the intricacies of Ohio State football.
Of course.
So so it's fun to chat.
I'll tell you what, Monday night Eric has a call-in show. Call in, man. And Saturday, Chris also has a call-in show in the morning. Thursday,
on the Saturday nights.
Got it.
Thursdays, TG,
not nights, days.
Or our friend Mika. They have a killer show. the Buckeye
Cool.
Yep.
ladies.
We have that
So-
coming up this Thursday, obviously, and we're gonna be talking about a whole lot of things. Now we are gonna bring up some Buckeyes because I talked about it on the watch along where I said Emeka Buka would possibly play against the Jets, and he did. Even though he had like a groin and a hip injury, he did end up playing, and he played for them. Bro, he balled.
Great.
He made the most spectacular one-handed catch.
Oh,
Like,
Mhm.
bro,
Yeah, that was really nice.
y'all
Yep.
gonna hear NFL on there, I'm promising y'all. But you're
I
gonna
know.
definitely hear about the Buckeye players.
JSN is I have him on my fantasy team for
You should,
Great.
dude. He the dude. And
Yep.
it's just Meedum 79. Thank you. And thank you for the compliment.
hey, thanks again, Japeth. Give
Of
our
course,
love to
yes.
give our love to Clark. Tell Chloe we said hi to.
Yeah.
Will do.
You guys are more than welcome to come on anytime. And you know what? Anytime you ever need any help or anything, fundraising or promoting anything, let us know and we'll promote the heck out of it on here for you. We'll let you come
Appreciate
back
it.
on.
Yeah,
You know.
that'd be great. Love to be back on and chat with you guys.
Now, is there a
Awesome.
website? What's the website if someone wants to donate?
Yep. So it is the Cure Sanfilippo Foundation.org. I actually think if you type in Google curesff.org, that will bring up the website, and then you can learn all about the disease if you want to sit there and go through everything. They got lots of info, and then like I said, there's like a meet the families section, and you can go through and see all the faces of the kids living with Sanfilippo, kids who have passed. And then you can click on their faces and learn more about them. They have a family profile for every kid on there. And then, like I said, you can find Clark. And if you feel inclined to donate, it's appreciated. And if you do it through Clark, it's just donated like kind of in his name. So
Okay.
All right. And speaking of promotion, Shaun, before we head off, don't forget our sponsor, MyBookie.
MyBookie.com. Put in the code word, the promo word Ohio, and you should get $500 insurance, bet insurance. So if you screw up,
Yeah.
you get insurance on your bets up to $500. So MyBookie.com. If you've never been there before, put in the promo Ohio, and you will get that. You get
Betting
that
insurance.
betting insurance.
So,
Japeth?
guys, thank you everybody for tuning in. And again, how do I pronounce your name again?
Japeth, but actually I could everybody just calls me JP, so that's fine too.
JP, because sometimes I'm sorry, because sometimes I tend to struggle with names at times.
Well, that's fine. JP, I've been going by that my whole
So
life. Because
JP
everybody looks at my name is like, what in the world?
Yeah. So JP, anytime you want to come back on, and again, we
Please.
hope continuously prayers for your son, and hopes he continues to get better, and that we're happy that his condition is getting better, and prayers that he continues to happen. And for everybody, continue to send your prayers, donate to this man and his family. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you never miss another episode. And also, we're going to be having another guest on the show at some point. Shaun, you want to remind me who that is?
We have a couple guys coming on, but I believe next Tuesday. Hold on 1 minute. I have my calendar on my phone and it fell down for a minute. Hold on. I should know this, but I've had so many guests that
You forgot. I know we have some pre-recorded set up for sure.
Okay,
and
so
we're
next Tuesday is the 30th, and we are having Mr. Boom Herring on. Boom Heron, Daniel Boom Heron will be on next Tuesday.
Yep, so you guys don't want to miss that. That's going to be fun. And again, we're going to end the show like we always do. OH.
I-O.
Go Bucks, and scum still sucks. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Peace out.
Bye. Thank you.